The Royal House of Thieves. Cadmus, the founder and the first king of Thebes, he was the son of King Agenor and Queen Telephassa of the Phoenician city of Tyre. He was one of the 5 children, 4 sons and 1 daughter, Europa. It is with the beautiful sister of Cadmus that the story begins. God Zeus seduced Europus, distinguishing into a magnificent white bull, and kidnapped Europa, the sister of Cadmus, as she was gathering flowers. Devastated at the loss of his daughter, King Agenor dispatched his 4 sons on a mission to find her and bring her home. They searched far and wide, but none were able to find a way to trace their sister. Cadmus was determined to never abandon the search. However, eventually, Cadmus went in a pilgrimage to the Oracle of Delphi in the hope he would learn the fate of his sister. The Oracle, however, advised him to give up the search for Europa, instead directing him to found a new city just as his brothers had. Cadmus instructed to follow a cow that was awaiting outside the oracle and build a city. Cadmus found the location as what the oracle instructed and decided to sacrifice the cow to Athena, the goddess of heroic endeavor, to mark the occasion. Founding Thebes did not come without its challenges. Cadmus had to fight a first dragon. Athena then told him to sow the earth with the dragon's teeth. Armed men sprang from the furious and killed each other, survived, and became Cadmus' helper. Cadmus and his children. It is believed that Cadmus first introduced the alphabet to Greece. Cadmus married Harmonia, the daughter of Aphrodite. Harmonia was given a necklace from Aphrodite. Cadmus and Harmonia had 4 daughters and 1 son, namely Semele, Ino, Agave, Atono, Polydus. All their daughters experienced a great tragedy in their lives. As it turned out, the dragon that Cadmus had slain was sacred to the war gods Ares. He punished Cadmus. Cadmus was encouraged by the dragon, and Cadmus and Harmonia became a serpent. The reign of King Laos and Jocasta. With Laos as the king, Apollo's oracle at Delphi began to play a large role in their family's fortunes. The oracle told Laos a prophecy. Laos tried to prevent the fate. Laos was killed several years later. Oedipus and the Sphinx. The details of Laos' murder were not investigated because of the Sphinx. The Sphinx had the winged body of a lion and the breast and face of a woman. As travelers passed, the Sphinx would ask them, "Here, riddle." The Sphinx had caused Thebes to grow close to famine. Her riddle was, what goes on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 legs at noon, and on 3 legs in the evening? Oedipus, a traveler from Corinth, successfully answered the riddle by answering, human being. The Sphinx, in disbelief, killed herself. The reign of Oedipus. Oedipus became a king and was given Jocasta as his wife. Together, they had 2 sons and 2 daughters, Polynices, Eschocles, Antigone, and Ismene. When Polynices and Eclesias had grown into men, Thebes succumbed to terrible plague. Oedipus sent Creon to Delphi. Creon said the plague would lift when the murderer of Claus was punished. Oedipus sent Tiresias, told Oedipus he himself was the killer he sought. Oedipus ordered him out of his sight. Jocasta told Oedipus the prophecy told Teleus of his murder. Oedipus tells of his prophecy and that he killed a group of men at a place where 3 roads met. Oedipus sent for the surviving shepherd. In the meantime, a messenger from Corinth arrived to tell Oedipus of Polybus' death. Jocasta told him that there was no truth in prophecy. The messenger then tells Oedipus he wasn't Polybus' son, and he himself received him from a shepherd, a servant of Laius. The shepherd was confessed that he didn't leave Laius' son to die, but instead gave him to the messenger. Jocasta killed herself, and Oedipus blinded himself. After Oedipus lived on Thebes and resigned from the throne, as did his son Polynices. The Thebans then accepted Creon as their ruler. After many years, the Thebans decided to expel Oedipus. Antigone guided her father after he was driven out of the city. Ismene stayed in Thebes to keep them informed. Shift in power. After Oedipus left, his 2 sons fought for the right to the throne. Eschocles succeeded and exiled his brother from Thebes. Polynices resided in Argos and rallied an army together to march against Thebes. Oedipus' death in the meantime. Antigone and Oedipus had traveled to Colossus. Apollo told Ismene he would be received by the king of Athens with all honor. Ismene went to Colossus to tell Oedipus of Apollo's words and was with him when he dies. King Theseus sent Antigone and Ismene safely home. Polynesius attacked Thebes. When Antigone and Ismene returned home, their brothers were fighting. Polynesius was accompanied by 6 other men. Each man attacked one of the 7 great gates of Thebes. Neither side gained any advantage. The outcome was to be determined by the battle between Polynesius and Ischiclus. Neither was victorious, and they killed each other. Polynesius' last wish was to be buried in his homeland. Creon's rule. The battle was started, and the Thebans were victorious. Creon became king. Only one Polynesian man survived, Adrastus. Creon made it law that none of the men against Thebes should be buried there. Antigone disobeyed Creon and buried him herself. She was sentenced to death. The house of Oedipus, the last of the royal family of Thebes, was no more. The 7 against Thebes. Adrastus and the mother and the sons of the dead went to Theus, king of Athens, to ask him to convince Creon to allow his men to be buried in Thebes. Theseus decided that if the people of Athens consented, he would ask Creon. Theseus pleaded to Creon, but he ignored it. The Athens then marched against Thebes and conquered. The 5 dead men were burned in a fire, and peace overcame their mothers. Their sons vowed to vengeance upon Thebes when they were grown up. The 7 against Thebes are Phidias, Capaneus, Adrastus, Hepamedon, Parthenopeus, Aphiarus, and Polynesius itself. During the battle, they were confronted at the 7 gates of Thebes. 10 years later, they marched to Thebes and were victorious. The Thebans fled and their city was destroyed. The only remain was the harmonious necklace, which was taken to Delphi to be shown to pilgrims.